Hello, this is Stuart Lloyd, helping you with your AQA GCSE Science revision. This video is on standard form, which is a method of writing very large or very small numbers. So here we have lots of large numbers that you come across in science. So for example, a mole is a number in chemistry where if you have a mole of a substance, it will weigh its relative atomic mass in grams. If you have the distance from the Earth to the Sun is this large number here, and the number of cells in the human body is also an extremely large number. On the flip side, we have lots of small numbers. So for example, the wavelength of red light is a very small number. The diameter of an atom is an extremely small number, and so is the diameter of a virus. So how can we write these numbers without having to think about how many zeros there are, or look at these numbers and think, is that the right number of zeros? Well, we use the powers of 10. So, as you can see, the power of 10 to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, anything to the power of 0 is 1. 10 to the power of 1 is 10, so anything to the power of 1 is itself. As you increase the powers of 10, you simply increase the number of zeros. So if you have a positive number, power for 10, that number is the number of zeros. So 10 to the power of 1 is 10, which is 1 and a 0. 10 to the power of 2 is 100, so 2 zeros. 10 to the power of 3 is 1,000, so 3, and 10 to the power of 4 is 10,000, so 4 zeros. Okay? If you go in the opposite direction, and you have negative powers of 10, then you put the zeros in front of it. So 10 to the power of minus 1 is 0.1. 10 to the power of minus 2 is 0.01. 10 to the power of minus 3 is 0.001. 10 to the power of minus 4 is 0.0001. So with a minus power, the number of zeros goes before it. And you've got to remember that the first zero will have the decimal point after it. And that zero before the decimal point counts as one of the zeros. So as you can see, 10 to the minus 1 has 1 0, and that is the zero before the decimal point. 10 to the minus 2 has 2 zeros, 1 before the point, 1 after. 10 to the minus 3 has 3 zeros, 1 before the point, then 2 after. Okay, so there's always 1 0 before the decimal point. So if we look at those numbers again in standard form, we now have this, which is a lot easier to write. So a mole is 6.02 times 10 to the 23. So it was easy now to see that there's 23 figures after that 6, rather than having to count them. Okay, distance from the Earth to the Sun is 1.5 times 10 to the power 8 kilometers. Number of cells in the human body is 3.72 times 10 to the 13. On the opposite side, the wavelength of red light is 7 times 10 to the minus 8 meters. Diameter of an atom is 1 times 10 to the minus 10 meters. And the diameter of a virus is 4 times 10 to the minus 7 meters. So how do you work out how to write a number in standard form? Or how do you work out how to convert back from standard form to a normal number? Well, this is what the next bit's about. So if you're converting to standard form, so this is getting a positive power to the 10, so converting from a normal number to standard form. So you've got to remember, when you write in standard form, you only have one number before the decimal point. So you take your big number, you place a decimal on the last point, and then you move the decimal to the left until you've got the decimal to the left of the first number. And every time you do that, then the power of 10 increases by 1. So here is an example. This is the speed of light. This is a very large number. So what we do is, we place decimal point. There we go. Right, how many times do we move it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that 3 is the first number. So we write 3 times 10, and we've moved it decimal point 8 times, so it's to the power 8. So the speed of light is 3 times 10 to the power 8 kilometers per second. Meters per second, sorry. So if we've got a really small number, so we have to move the decimal place to the right, so then we have to decrease the powers of 10. So here we have a very small number. This isn't a particular number in science, this is just a small number. So I suppose it helps that the decimal place is already there for us. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to move it till it's the 1 past the first number. So it's 1 times 10 to the power minus 10. There we go. Right. If we're converting from standard form, so if the power of 10 is negative, it's going to be less than 1. We've got to move the decimal point to the left to the number of times equal to the power. So here we are. Right, so here we have 1 times 10 to the minus 5. So if we start, we write a 1 with a decimal place here. Here. Right, so it's minus 5, so go 1. That's 1 0. 2, 2 zeros. 3, 3 zeros. 4, 4 zeros. And 5. 5 zeros. So the decimal place should be here. So it should be 0.00001. Right, so if you have a positive standard form number, it will be greater than 1. So you have to move the number to the right, which is a bit easier. So 1 times 10 to the power 8. So if we write 1, and there's the decimal place. So it's 1.0. Move it to the right once. So once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, and then 8 times. So that's the standard form for larger numbers. Okay, so that comes to the end of the video for doing standard form. I hope that's helped. Good luck with your exam.